Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to this very comfortable narrative experience that definitely will not involve anything dark.
We're just here to slay Princess and nothing more.
Wait, it's not October yet?
Oh.
You're not allowed to play spooky games? What are you doing?
We're getting prepared.
Be prepared.
That's our teeth and
There are
ambitions.
no premature endings, there are no wrong decisions, there are only fresh perspectives and new beginnings. This is a love story.
Slay the princess.
Give
Yay!
me full screen. There we go.
We're the bad guys?
Regicide!
Are we the baddies?
Dang it. I made the cursor disappear. That's gonna be annoying. I guess I'm doing windowed.
What's the accessibility stuff?
Boil effect, parallax effect, flickering images. Accessibility.
Text size, hide contrast, self-voicing volume drop.
Is this RenP? I feel like this is a default RenP menu.
Yeah, I think this is.
Neat.
RenP is just one of those super simple to use if you just are making a visual novel.
That's one of those things. Unity games as well have this where you see behind the scenes of them enough and you can start to recognize the default assets for certain things.
Self-voicing off, text-to-speech, clipboard, debug. I have no idea what those means.
Let's just not bother with them then. This is fine. Everything is fine.
Yeah, best I can tell there is that's for people who have reading disabilities and they'd rather hear the words.
Yeah.
A tab skips dialogue when pressed, or control
Held down.
Space advances dialogue without selecting choices. Enter advances dialogue and activates the interface.
Tab control. Skips dialogue with press. Ooh.
Okay. Chapter 1. The Hero and the Princess. Oh, it's a fairy tale.
In the woods. And at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess.
Look at all that parallax.
You're here
Parallax.
to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Okay. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the end of everything as we know it. No more birds, no more trees, and perhaps most problematically of all, no more people. You have to put an end to her.
How can a princess locked away in a basement in the world?
Don't
Good question.
linger on the specifics. You have a job to do here.
This is just how the
Get in
narrative
there
works.
and do what needs
Trust
to be
me.
done. We're all counting on you.
This narrator guy sounds pretty reliable. I'd have a beer with him.
Yes, we all know every narrator is reliable.
Do you have any evidence to back this up?
You're already on the path that leads to the cabin. Why would you be here if it weren't to complete a very important task? You've made it this far, you might as well reach the end of your journey.
You've made it this far, you might as well commit murder.
Wow, that's a lot of choices.
There are a lot of options here.
What kind of personality do you want to start with? Do you want to start with the I lack all critical thinking skills?
No, I'm going to do what I always do and start with all the critical thinking skills.
Okay. That's just kind of how you are.
Yes, that's how I am. Have you considered maybe the only
Question
reason she's
everything.
going to end the world is because she's locked up? Is she the one that's ending the world, or is just the world ending on behalf of her? I don't know.
Well, let's find out.
While I appreciate the mental exercise, we are running up against a bit of a ticking clock.
That's fine. I'm just going to be Hamlet here.
Nevertheless, let me assure you, the princess is locked up because she's dangerous. She is not dangerous because she's locked up. And before you decide to waste even more of our time by asking how I know that, let me suggest a more pragmatic lens through which to view this situation. Causality doesn't matter here, because the end result is the same no matter what led us up to this point. If the princess leaves the cabin, the world will end, and there is no changing that. It's no use arguing semantics over a metaphorical chicken or egg, because the egg is hatched and it's about to ruin everything. Unless, of course, you do your job and slay her.
I get us a word we're doing this.
Okay, I'm sold.
Let's jump straight to killing.
I've always wanted to off a monarch. Viva la revolution. I guess we're just in a narrative here. That's what we're going to assume for the moment.
Don't mention it. It's all part of the job. You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within. A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says. We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them. Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. Perched on that table is a pristine blade.
Is it cursed, or it's just a
The
plain old...
blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
So did, somebody leave this here, or...
You take the blade from the table. It'd be rather difficult to slay the princess and save the world without it. The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place. The air feels heavy and damp, a hint of rot filtering from the ancient wood. If the princess really lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor.
See, it's okay.
You really have to editorialize.
Her voice
This is what's
carries
making
up the
everybody
stairs.
suspicious.
Yeah.
Who's there?
She sounds dangerous. It's almost as if she's the one in charge down here. Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation.
Hi. Hey, I think I'm here to kill you.
Oh, are you now? Why don't you come down and let me take a look at you?
Great job. You gave away the element of surprise. Good luck, hero.
Oh, come on. She knows. She's in here expecting to be killed, isn't she?
You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement. She's so coldly beautiful. Is she really a threat to the world? Focus on the task at hand.
You weren't kidding when you said you were here to kill me.
Yeah, it wasn't a joke.
I know. You brought a knife with you and everything. But you don't have to try and kill me. You could always toss that scrap of metal to the ground and give the two of us a chance to talk things out.
She makes a compelling point. What if we didn't kill her? What if we just dropped the blade and talked?
Weren't we trying to convince us earlier?
Don't you dare. It's fine. We can decide what we want to do after we talk to her. Maybe she really is a monster, but killing someone in cold blood isn't very becoming of us. You ignore the trembling in your hands and tighten your grip on the blade.
You poor thing. Your hands are shaking. Are you scared of me? Because you should be.
You step forward, your grip on the blade tightening as you steel your resolve.
Oh? No talking then? Fine. What even makes you think you can kill me?
Ah.
I'm probably chained up in this basement for a reason, right? And if that knife is the only weapon you have, you'll have to get close enough to use it. So, you should just drop it. Best not to risk finding out what I can do.
She's unarmed. If you hesitate now, it'll be too late. End this.
Oh no, she can transform into Sailor Moon, can't she?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Are you sure she's not armed?
I'm positive. I'm not.
I'm the
But
narrator.
we'll keep our eyes peeled. If she has a weapon, she'll have to draw it before she can use it.
Hesitating.
And she doesn't even have a
Why
pencil.
don't you drop the knife and the two of us can be civilized with each other? Then I'm not talking to you.
I'm not talking to you.
Squint at the princess while holding onto the blade.
You stare at the princess, squinting. She squints back. The two of you are gonna do this forever, aren't you?
Squint hard.
I'm like, wait a minute, I thought this was a horror game.
You squint even harder. So does she. At least nobody's dying right now. You're going to have to make a choice. You can't keep squinting forever. Eventually, someone is going to have to blink.
Not unless I squint in such a way I don't have to.
No,
So
if you
what you gonna
squint
do?
and then you rock your head forwards and back, so your top and bottom eyelid keep wetting the entirety of your eyeball, then you're fine.
Yeah.
So what you gonna do? You gonna drop the blade or you gonna slay her?
I think we have to slay her.
Okay, go for it.
We're gonna have to breach this wall at some point, so let's see what happens when we slay the
You
princess.
charge the princess, blade in hand, but unfortunately your earlier suspicions proved correct. A blade of her own slips down her sleeve and catches you in the neck. Blood sprays from the cut, your severed carotid artery painting the princess with strokes of red. You'd better finish your task quickly before you run out of time. With the last bit of your will, you press forward, sinking the blade deep into the princess's heart.
Why is my character like a bird guy?
Yeah, just noticed that. You also have a reptilian arm, it looks like.
Yeah, that's a
Oh,
bird
yeah.
hand.
Miller, is this you? Did
No,
you kill her? Is Miller the killer?
The two of you collapse on the floor together, rapidly bleeding out.
She's cute.
Somehow, I thought this would turn out a little differently. But I wonder, do you really think that this was enough to stop me?
Here's the spur representation.
It's like she's convinced she can't die. But you don't have time to worry over such things. Everything goes dark, and you die.
Well, that was Slay the Princess, everyone. I hope you're glad that you came out to see this.
Yep.
You're on a path.
Ah,
through
the
woods.
razor. Akken's razor.
And
The
at
razor
end of that
specifically for
path is a
Akken.
cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
We've heard that somewhere before.
It hasn't.
No, I think it's
Or if
propaganda.
it has, I certainly haven't been a part of it. We've just met for the first time, you and I.
Okay, now he's just gaslighting us.
If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way.
This whole thing's a crock of shit. She's just going to pull a knife out of nowhere and stab us again.
Stabbed to death? And you won't have to worry about that. The princess is unarmed.
Yeah, that's exactly what you told us last time. When we asked you if you were sure she didn't have a weapon on her, you said you were positive she didn't.
The voice cheated.
This is gonna be like
1 second.
Disco Elysium, where each of your like different personality traits has their own character.
Might be.
But it turns out she did, because when we charged her, she started stabbing us to death.
Calm down. I assure you she has no weapons, so there's no reason to fear her. You were made for this job. You'll do just fine. Those are two very different questions, but fine. I'll indulge you if that's what it takes to get you moving. Let's say for a moment that this really is the second time you've met me, or at least a version of me. If you're back here, I'm assuming you died, which probably only happened because you didn't listen to me. We did exactly what you said. Sounds to me like you probably had some kind of elaborate nightmare, in which case I shouldn't be held accountable for what supposedly happened. But congratulations, you've been given a chance to actually do this right. And I believe your other question was something along the lines of, oh, what's the point of doing anything? If you're asking that, it sounds to me like you're making the rather dangerous assumption that your actions last time around didn't have any consequences.
This is the story of a man called Stanley.
I mean, yeah, that's the idea, right? It's that same sort of meta-narrative thing. How do we approach the idea of choices in video games? And what does that mean for us?
What do you mean? Of course there weren't any consequences. We stabbed the princess stabbed us, and now everyone's right back to where they started. That sounds pretty consequence-free to me. Yes, but in this purely hypothetical scenario, that begs the question of how you got back here. Did time simply rewind itself, or were you instead transported to a different world entirely? Had you failed to slay the princess, what would have happened to everyone in the place you left?
Screw this. Who cares what happened to everyone else? She's not going to play fair, so we should do what we can to save ourselves and just get out of here.
At least you know not to trust her, but you do realize that everything and everyone includes you, right? If you turn around and leave, you're dooming yourself as well as everyone else. She just caught us by surprise last time. She can't do that twice. So long as we're careful, we can win this. That's the spirit. Just keep that stiff upper lip, and you'll save the world in no time at all.
Sorry, I'm giggling at stiff upper lip. So fucking British.
Just be quick about it.
All she did last time was stab me to death.
She just can.
That's all.
But she's still only a princess. You're fully up to the task you've been given, so long as you remember that.
Who locked her in the basement? What is this place?
People locked her in that basement, and I told you what this place is. It's a path in the woods. Don't overcomplicate things.
You're being cagey. What aren't you telling me?
I've told you everything you need to know. Going into more detail would just overcomplicate an otherwise very simple situation and make your job more difficult.
I have a feeling that the situation is more complicated than you're letting on, and the fact that you're not telling me is an indication of that.
You didn't tell us about her knife last time, though.
That's because she's unarmed. And more than that, it's because there wasn't a last time.
If people locked her away, why couldn't they slay her? I do kind of want to know that.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to say this, but it's because you're special. You're the only person capable of doing this.
Because you're the only person. We're all NPCs.
But it's just the way things are.
Or maybe you're the bad guy and you want me to slay the princess.
I didn't know we were special. Of course you're special. Why else would you be here?
It's not like this is a game and it was on sale or anything.
Sounds like a right pile of bullshit.
If anyone's special here, it's her. That was a nasty trick she pulled on us. Like I said, if she killed you, it was probably because you didn't listen to me. Don't talk to her, don't trust her, just go in, do your job, and save the world. Oh, and don't get stabbed while you're at it.
Okay.
Great. Now, if you don't mind, the whole world is waiting with bated breath for you to save it from ruin.
Fine. Let's do this without
A warning
any...
before you go any further. She will lie.
Yes, we
She
know.
will cheat. It couldn't be more on the money. But we're really doing this, aren't we? I'd say you're lost, but I'm stuck here with you. We know what to look out for this time. We know to be careful. Just stay focused and you'll be fine. The interior of the cabin is a jagged mess of warped wood and broken boards, their splintered edges as uninviting as shattered glass. The only furniture of note is a pointed table with a pristine blade perched on its edge.
Well, also that mirror.
Yeah.
The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Didn't say
Walk up
anything
to the
about
wall
the mirror
next to
on
the
the wall.
basement door. It's a wall. There isn't
But-
much to see here. What are you talking about? This isn't a wall. It's a mirror. Or at least it'll be a mirror once we wipe off that layer of grime. You reach forward and rub your hand against the cabin wall. I hope you know how ridiculous you look right now. There was a mirror a second ago. Now it's gone. Yet another thing in here playing tricks on us. I hate this place. Very different. Maybe that's because you haven't actually been here. I hope this means you'll finally drop that ridiculous past life nonsense. You haven't died, and you certainly haven't been killed by the princess. So focus up. A lot's riding on this. You take the blade from the table. It would be difficult to slay the princess and save the world without a weapon. It feels a bit better to have a weapon in our hands. Let's make her hurt for what she's done to us.
Here goes Miller into the basement.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing what must once have been stairs. The fractured slats look as if they've been torn from their source and violently jammed into the wall. The air seeping up from below has an almost metallic quality to it, like the smell of fresh blood. And you can hear what sounds like the rhythmic scraping of metal coming from down below. If the princess lives here, slaying her would probably be doing her a favor.
That's gonna be a running thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's right, scraping. I told you she has something, I told you. That sound could be anything. It's probably just her chains dragging across the floor. I am begging you to get out of your head. Her grating voice carries up the stairs.
I hope you've come to rescue me. I've been stuck down here forever.
There is something so wrong with that voice. Yeah, she thinks she's better than us, like she doesn't even have to put on an act this time. As you descend the final step, the form of the princess comes into view, her sharp eyes following you from across the room. I wonder if she remembers us.
Finally, somebody! Quick, get me out of these chains. We're not safe here.
Come on now, we're not falling for that, are we? She's trying to trick us, but she can't hide that threatening edge to her voice. She just wants us to get close, to let our guard down. If she sounds threatening, it's because her mask is already slipping. She knows why you're here. You are armed, after all.
What are you waiting for? You are here to rescue me, right?
I wonder if you don't ask her questions, just go try to kill her.
There's a
Good
lot.
lord, there's so many choices!
Yeah. Yeah, see?
Screw it, slay the princess. Let's just, rush forward.
Sure, that's always the
Princess falls
best possible
silent,
answer.
her smile unwavering as you charge across the room. Okay, she hasn't pulled out a knife yet, and her hands are still behind her back. I think we can do this. I think we can win. We just have to strike now, but make sure you keep your eyes on those hands. I don't trust her for a second. But your focus is broken by the horrible sound of metal slicing through meat. Whose meat? Not ours, right? Hers, at first. Then yours.
Hee.
How? What did she even hit us with? You stare down at your chest and at the long, thin blade she impaled you with. And then the red, angry slit along the flesh of her thigh, where the blade had been nestled just a moment ago. It's still lodged in her leg, emerging from her knee, hinging up and out of her body like some extra metallic limb.
Man, I hate when girls do that.
Absolute bullshit.
I'm with the voice of the cheetah with this.
How did I know?
With a twist of her knee and a painful squelch, she does just that. Everything goes dark, and you die.
That was quick.
You're on a path in the woods. No, fuck that. If we're gonna have to keep doing this over and over and over again, we're not starting in that goddamn woods every time. We're starting in the fucking cabin. You're what? The interior? I feel dizzy. Oh, I guess I took us to the cabin, didn't I? Isn't that interesting? Who holds the cards now?
Area of the cabin is a sharp and constricting mess of curved, battered sheet metal pushing you towards... Wait, excuse me? What just happened? What did you just do? Okay.
The circle's getting smaller and smaller. Running isn't an option anymore.
A new voice now.
Of course.
It's better that way.
Oh, good.
Without a fight, no one can win, and if no one can win, then nothing has any meaning. Great, so obviously you've already been here. How many times? This is our third? No wonder things have fallen apart. You do realize that every time you fail, she escapes and an entire world is damned to destruction, right? That can't be right, that's too much responsibility. Nah, impossibly high stakes make the fight so much better. Let's just stay focused, shall we? The only furniture of note is a bent metal table. A pristine blade perched. We take it. Okay, sure, you take the blade before letting...
Before letting me finish telling you it's there, it would be difficult to slay the princess and save the world.
This feels right. We just have to keep our senses sharp.
That's right, we've got to be able to win eventually. We will win eventually. Hell, we might even win now. That's a fighting spirit I like to see. You could all learn a thing or two from this one. I'd love to get started just as much as you would, but how are we supposed to get down there? You walk through the door. You do know what doors are, right? But there isn't a door, it's just that mirror again. There isn't a mirror. You really messed things up, didn't you? It's like you can't even see reality anymore.
I can feel the air coming up from behind it, stinking of iron and steel. He might be right. Could be a trick. If our other senses can't feel it, then we can't trust it.
If it's in our way, let's just break it and move on. You make your way to the door at the end of the room, stopping just in front of it. You really must think you're looking at a mirror. Well, it doesn't exist. Just reach forward and open it. Let's just fumble for the handle and be done with it. I don't care what we look like. I care about getting to the end of this mess.
I care what we look like.
Yeah.
You reach forward and place your hand on the door to the basement. It creaks open. And the mirror's gone. How surprising.
It was never there. Just an illusion.
Let's just get to the princess already. I didn't care about the mirror before, and I care about it even less now. Guess it's time for us to see her again. Just stay focused and you'll be fine. You step forward, but you don't get a chance to linger on the basement stairs. They are smooth and flat and metallic, an unintentional and unfortunately slippery ramp that quickly sends you skittering to the bottom.
Your body tumbles onto the basement floor and the form of the princess comes into view, standing at a distance. She gives you a wry smile.
Hi, it looks like you don't have a way out, so I'm not going to play dumb anymore. But don't worry about how bad you did last time. That's part of the fun.
She's got another thing coming if she thinks we're going down easy again. Pride makes us dead. The only thing that matters is survival.
Really? Because we seem to keep coming back, so...
Actually, does survival matter?
Yep.
We've died twice and nothing...
Again,
bad has
I agree
come.
with Voice of the
You
Cheetah.
just need to find a way to win once. Nothing bad has come of it yet. Plenty bad has come of it. You've left at least one entire world to ruin. The people there mattered.
Did
I
they?
don't believe
The
it.
past.
We haven't seen any.
There's only here and now. Your internal bickering is cut short by the wet sound of slicing meat. From the princess's arms erupt twin blades glistening with her blood, the empty flesh of her arms flopping at her elbows like torn sleeves. The chain clatters to the floor. She's loose, and she is coming for you.
You're going to make me walk over to you, aren't you?
Shit. She's coming for us and I'm out of ideas.
I like to imagine her just
Unconditionally
standing.
surrender.
I like the idea of her just standing there waiting for you to scroll through all these options.
Oh, that's easy. I've got to try flirting with her. She wins by killing us, right? So let's beat her to it. All these ideas suck. Think of something better.
I love this game. No choices. We're going to appeal to her authority.
Yeah, that's right. We just have to think. There's probably an answer if we think.
And you're
Just
dead.
standing there, huh? A bold strategy.
You don't have time to finish your thought. In a moment, she's across the room, blades flashing in the dim starlight. She skewers you. Ow. What a surprise. Yeah, we don't even get a second to think without her stabbing us. Oh, a new one of us. I thought that only happens when we die. Did we die? You're on a... No, you're in a... Where the hell are you?
I don't like that we died without us knowing it. This really, really blurs some lines that I prefer not to be blurred. Are we still dead? Are we alive again? How are we even supposed to know the difference?
Stop saying dead, all of you. We might have died a second ago, but right now we're extremely not dead. This is all horribly wrong. How many times have you been here?
This is 4.
No wonder everything's such a mess. This wasn't supposed to go past 1.
I wonder what you're going to do next. You're so full of ideas, and I love that.
But I guess we don't have time to talk about things before the princess advances. Okay, whatever we do gets us another us. Let's see how many we can stack. There's got to be a point where it makes us better than her. We don't need any other voices chattering about in here. It'll just confuse us. All we need is to keep fighting. Yeah, I'll pass on that. As long as we keep moving.
Come on, show me something new.
Okay, plan now.
Yeah, try flirting with her.
Sure, why not? Hey, princess, you're looking sharp today.
Doesn't work, and she kills you again, and again, and again, and again. Your memory blurs as your consciousness leaps from life to life to life, holding only snippets of the conflict that transpires.
Compliment her on those gleaming blades. There's nothing better than a capable woman. She skewers you.
You're cute.
Well, there's more of us. Let's see if that helps. Then you skewer yourself.
I thought we both understood that dying doesn't get you anywhere.
Huh, that didn't do much of anything. We're tougher than I thought.
What's the point? It's all the same.
She skewers you.
Oh, don't give up on me just yet. You gotta keep going.
It doesn't matter how many times this takes, we can't give up.
Can we?
Okay, let's go again. Just panic. Flee. She skewers you.
No, you don't get to escape. That's not how this works.
See? We're getting better. Okay, yeah. That was a good one. She's going to kill this body either way. So stop feeling what it feels. She skewers you.
Ooh,
Daenerys was like, come on.
not bad. Real tough.
We're getting close to something, can't you feel it? You're right. One last time, that's all we need. Let's appeal to her better nature. We haven't tried that. I'm sure she'll listen to reason. She skewers you. And then
Oh, so
everything
basically-
goes dark, and you die.
They were trying all the other options that we didn't choose.
Chapter 4.
Your Honor, don't lose your head. We're in a cabin, and we'll take it from here. Everything feels like it finally fits, doesn't it? We're up here, which is different, and different is good. And our steel claw is already in our hand. Ho-ho! What if we throw it out the window? Over my dead body.
That won't be very hard. We've died a lot. But I can't say I mind anymore.
Besides, what better way to die so very many times than at the sharp hands of a beautiful woman? Sure, I can think of a better way to die. They're all the same, really.
Okay, the music is drowning out the voices a bit.
How about we stop thinking about horrible ways to die? I don't want us to accidentally manifest anything. The only thing we're gonna manifest is finally ending up on top. There are entirely too many of you. How many times have you been here? This isn't good. This is... Yeah, leave it to the pros. We'll notch up that win in no time. Narrator, we heroically stride through the door and towards our destined final encounter with our star-crossed lover. Fine by me. You walk to the door and onto the basement stairs, only... It's fine. I'll just shut up then and speed this whole thing along. Are you sure you don't want me to describe the stairs? Or this room, or anything? It feels like I'm hardly a part of this. Don't care. Just want to win. Fine. You make your way to the basement, where the princess awaits you.
You know, this last time I killed you, and you didn't pop right back up again? I thought I'd actually done it. I thought I'd cut you into so many pieces you just weren't able to stitch yourself back together. But I guess we're not done. That's okay with me. It's good even. I like that. I got something ready for you while you were gone. Do you want to see it? I'm not going to wait for an answer. I'm just going to show you. It's worth it though. Just you wait. And not for very long, because I'm going to do it right now. Are you going to say what she does? Do you want me to talk now? Well, yeah, she says she has something new. I want to hear about the new thing. Yeah, me too. I think I speak for all of us when I say that I would like to hear you describe her new thing.
Shaun of the Dead vibes.
Okay then. Here we go, now. The princess's skin twists, splitting into red blooms of raw meat as it stretches and tears. And then it erupts. She becomes a wave of blood and viscera, pieces of her splattering against the walls. All that remains in the center of the room is a skeleton of blades. A heart beats furiously in its cage of a chest.
Are you ready for what
Princess,
comes next?
you might want something for that acne
shit.
eruption.
She's gorgeous. Absolutely divine.
Know which part of me is the monster fucker there.
Yes, behold, the perfect woman. Do you think we can throw her out the window? That looked painful. How is she still alive? Heart's still beating, that's all she needs. This is fake. This is all fake. That's all just made up. She doesn't even have a back anymore. How are we supposed to stab her in it?
This is all just a sick joke. I hate existing.
We're screwed. I quit. I'm done. Forget it.
Empty my mind.
What just happened? It's so quiet.
Him too.
Something feels different about you. It almost makes me feel different. Like I should actually take this seriously for once.
Do not act, and yet through that inaction your body moves on its own. Princess strikes as you approach, but as her blow finishes its arc, you are already somewhere else.
You're incredible.
Your weapons clash again and again, you and her entering a rhythm free of thought and free of self. There's only the dance.
It's the Ultra Instinct, Shaggy! The ultimate technique!
The ebb and flow, the shifting of tides back and forth between you. The deeper you fall into your play, the faster your hearts pound, the faster the momentum volleys between you. An endlessly building crescendo, and then an opening. Your blade strikes free of volition, and hers strikes too. Both strikes are lethal. Neither of you will survive, but neither of you fear what's to come. This is a good ending. Do not get to see each other die. Something has taken her away, and it's left something else in her place. You do so. Silence as you reach towards the glass. It's time for you to see what's in it. It's you. You are alone in a place that is empty. It is quiet here. You are at the cabin.
Something finds me in the long quiet and brings me the gift of a fragile vessel.
Are you the princess?
She is part of me, and part of me is her.
Are you always a princess, or are you just making her a part of yourself?
You speak in circles. Does it matter where one thing begins and another ends?
Oh, there's some time loop bullshit. Okay. What is the gift of a fragile vessel?
Yes. Nerves and fibers to feel the worlds beyond. Perspectives to make my own. This one is sharp and single-minded. She is cruelty, but she is also joy. She will make for an indomitable heart. Do not mourn her. She is exactly where she needs to be.
What are you?
I am solitary lights in an empty city. What are you?
So you don't know either, in other words.
I don't know what I am.
I think that you are like me. We are oceans, reduced to shallow creeks.
This is the end of the world.
How can the world have ended if we are talking?
She's got you there.
Do we know each other?
You are familiar, but you are not me. I feel sadness, longing, hope as I witness you.
You know about the worlds beyond this place.
I know only that they are.
You know the narrator.
You are the only thing I have ever known. The space we're in is vacant. Nothing comes here but us.
Hey, what sent me to slay the princess?
I have only just now stirred to consciousness. I could not have trapped you here, and I too yearn to be free.
Let her out of there?
I'm sorry. There are some changes that can never be undone. There are some tears that can never be unshed. This is not a place that can hold a fragment of a concept. The moment she arrived here, she was going to return to me. I promise that it doesn't hurt.
What happens now?
Nothing, as we are. But I know that there are worlds beyond us, and that we are meant to reach them. There is no exit, but this vessel is a creature of perception. She can make you forget, if only you believe her to be able to. Bring me more perspectives, so that I may be whole, and perhaps then we will know our freedom.
So we have to get different endings. Okay.
Oh.
How many more pieces of you do I have to find?
More than you have found, but less than there are to find. I am infinite. The rest will find their own way home.
So time times and half a time, okay?
Mm-mm.
I sent to slay the princess to stop her from destroying the world. If I help you, is that what you're going to do?
You ask of things that cannot be done. To destroy is merely to reshape, to remold.
What are you going to do if I help you? You're being semantic.
How can I know? I am flickers in something sprawling and unilluminated.
Okay, so it's something, not necessarily the end of the world. Aren't you scared I'll find a way to kill you?
I have not lived. I am not afraid to die.
How much will I forget?
Everything. Until we meet again.
And what if I don't let you do this to me?
Then we will be here forever, as we are now. Unfinished. Dry. Hollow.
Wait, I don't see a point in waiting. Okay.
She asks that I tell you to remember her. You won't.
Everything goes dark and you die. Chapter 1.
This
You're
game.
on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin.
Okay, the real Slay the Princess
And in
starts
the basement
here.
of
is
that
what
cabin
that
is a
achievement said.
princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Skip previously
Excuse
seen
me.
dialogue by pressing tab.
Seriously? You're just going to turn around and leave?
Yeah, I want to see what
Do
happens.
you even know where you're going?
Nope. Nope.
Fine. I suppose you just quietly continue down the path away from the cabin. Good. What we're being asked to do here is wrong. Better to wash our hands of this whole situation than to take part in it. Ignore that annoying little voice. He doesn't know what he's talking about. That's strange. It looks like this path also leads to the cabin. How convenient. Everything's back on track again. Maybe the world can still be saved after all.
This is very Stanley Parable.
Yep.
Turn around again and leave again.
You're really keen on wasting everyone's time, aren't you?
Yes.
It's
I mean,
remarkably
again, like,
selfish, if
is
you
it that
ask
this
me.
is
I've
specifically
already
like
outlined
Stanley
the stakes of the
Parable, or is it
situation.
just those
If you
are the
don't do
kind
your
of
job,
questions we need
everyone
to
dies.
ask?
Like, dies,
Right? That's like saying every
dies.
English class is the same.
Forever.
It's like, well, yes, because they're all focusing on the same kind of, like, reviewing the human condition and that kind of stuff. This is not as wide berthed, but like this is trying to review the concept of choice in media and what does that bring us to? What does that make of us when we have choices? What does it mean to have a choice?
You're not emotionally blackmailing me into doing this.
Stakes and consequences aren't emotional blackmail. They're facts of life, and if you had an ounce of maturity, you'd understand that.
I think I'm mature enough to know that I'm listening to a
Fine.
bullshitter.
You turn around and trek back down the path you came. Oh, would you look at that? You're at the cabin again. Now, I'm not normally one for superstition or astrology, but I have to say, it seems like the universe itself is doing its best to bring you to your fated confrontation with the princess.
I guess I start walking in a different direction again. In fact, I'm gonna just keep trekking through the wilderness until I find a way out of this place.
There's always a choice. Let me tell you right now that you're making the wrong one for pretty much everyone who has ever lived, as well as for everyone who ever will. And here we go. As you trudge into the woods, something strange starts to happen. At first, it's little flickers out of the corner of your eyes. Glimpses of
Is it cabin
familiar
chasing
wooden
us now?
structures through the leaves. But as you focus on your surroundings, you start to realize that those flickers weren't just a trick of light. In every direction, there is a path and a cabin. And not just a cabin, the cabin. An infinite fractal of paths and cabins desperately trying to draw you back to where you need to be.
Wait, what's going on?
But you're too stubborn for that, aren't you? It doesn't matter how many paths or cabins appear around you, you're just going to do whatever you can to shirk your responsibility because you care more about irritating me than you do about the fate of the world. You've doomed us all, you know that, right? But of course you do. Otherwise you wouldn't just wander off into the forest in search of certain death. You lose track of just how long you spend aimlessly tromping through the wilderness. But it's not like any of that time spent lost in the woods really matters, because it isn't long before the world ends and everyone dies. You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
It looks like we're trapped in some kind of dome or something. Okay, no. Just
stay in the woods forever.
Lie.
Those,
yep,
oh
okay.
yeah, those walls were here.
Those walls weren't here last time. You can't just force me to go to the cabin.
What are you talking about? I'm sure those walls have always been there. It makes sense if you think about it. If there weren't any walls in the woods, someone might have gotten lost. Or, heaven forbid, someone other than you might have stumbled onto the princess.
If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way.
I don't know. I think it's more fun if he knows what we're thinking. He's like a captive audience.
He might have walled off everything but the path to the cabin, but I'm sure there's plenty of other ways we can ruin his day. If by ruining my day, you mean ruining everyone's day forever, then yes, I suppose there are plenty of ways you could pull that off.
The world really did end last time, didn't it? We should be careful.
We didn't really
For
see
all
it,
we
though.
know, we just got lucky.
Yeah, we didn't see it.
The world hasn't ended yet, and you are never going to slay her with that attitude. Stuff those pathetic little voices to the back of your mind and stay focused on the task ahead.
Lie.
You know I can tell when you're lying, right? Please take this seriously. I am begging you. A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says. If we're stuck going in there, maybe we should believe her. Maybe she isn't a liar. Ignore him. He's just being difficult for the sake of it. Let's keep an open mind.
Oh, now we have to go.
The cabin interior is wrong. A confusing patchwork of many cabin interiors, all projected across what's almost the same space. But it's all shifted. An inch here, a foot there, such that the seams are never quite visible enough for the place to make any sense.
Ah.
Oh, jeez.
The only furniture of note is a plain table, its legs all the wrong lengths.
I glanced away for a second, then looked back, and I almost got nauseous.
On that table is a pristine blade. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
No.
If he wants us to take it, maybe we should just leave it to collect dust, or better yet, grab it and throw it out the window. What good is a knife against a world-ending monstrosity anyway? No, we're taking the knife. Have you seen this place? We have literally no idea what to expect and no idea what we're dealing with. I've already told you what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a princess. How many times do I have to explain this incredibly simple and straightforward premise?
Yeah, this is very simple and straightforward.
But when everything here is so wrong. Listen to me. My job is to describe facts as facts and to guide you through your job, which is to slay the princess and through that action, save the entire world. And if you're going to slay her, you cannot let fear creep into your heart. You cannot lose yourself before you even get to her. Oh, ho, ho, ho. You've piqued my interest. What's going to happen if we lose ourselves? Nothing, because you're going to pull yourself together. Just ignore the stressful geometry and stay calm. How? Even if we closed our eyes, you're constantly describing it to us. I'm not going to stop doing my job, so you're just going to have to get better at yours. And quickly, if you don't mind. Yes, take a deep breath. I'm all for getting under his skin, but we'll miss out on loads of
capitalize
fun if we
his.
shrivel up into a ball and go insane the first
Oh yeah,
time
they've
we
been
see
doing that
something
the whole
weird.
time when they refer to the narrator.
I didn't notice. So the narrator is God. Got it.
What you're seeing here is obviously real. Just accept it and go with the flow. It really isn't hard. Okay, I'm fine. Good. Now, whenever you're ready, we're all waiting for you to complete a very important task.
6 says, remember,
You
slay
didn't
the
say anything
not
about the
lay.
mirror on the wall.
Ooh, we should look at ourselves. Wouldn't that be fun? You won't be looking at yourself because there isn't a mirror. There's the table, the blade sitting on the table, and the door to the basement. There's nothing else in here. There's definitely a mirror. There isn't. You insisting it isn't there just makes me want to look at it even more.
I also want to look at myself. I want to see how handsome I am. Like, why would you lie about that? What's the point?
Exactly. Why would I lie about something so meaningless? What good would a mirror even do? That you waste time preening yourself instead of doing what needs to be done.
Get it? Preening? Because burn.
Walk up to the wall next to the basement door. It's a wall. There isn't much to see here. This really isn't funny. You reach forward and rub your hand against the cabin wall. I hope you know how ridiculous you look right now. But it was there a second
No, I don't,
ago.
because there's no mirror here.
And now it's gone. You know that taking the mirror away from us isn't going to change things, right? We'll find it again, and then we'll see whatever it is that you don't want us to see.
Not taking the blade.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a web of branching staircases all built from unidentifiable materials.
Ha!
Nothing here seems to belong, and the closer you examine your surroundings, the more confused you get, your head throbbing with the effort of making sense of this place. None of the stairs even seem to go anywhere, let alone down. The air here has a sickening, almost sludge-like miasma to it, the kind of indiscernible quality that comes from the blending together of every scent there is at once.
An odour that is simultaneously everything and yet the sum of it all coalescing into a thick, nauseating nothing. If the princess lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favour. Her voice, a disquieting collage of tone and personality, drags up the stairs.
Hello? Hi. What are you doing here? Are you here to kill?
No, thank you. Oh, don't be such a baby. I don't want to do this. Let's just turn around and leave. This feels wrong. This feels like a trap. Like whatever we do, we're gonna die. We don't even have a weapon. But we already tried turning around and leaving, didn't we? And he threw up a wall. No way to go but forward. And whatever choice we make, whatever she is, we know one thing for sure. And what's that? That the fate of the world hinges on your success? There'll still be plenty of ways to ruin his day.
Take the harsh stairs.
You step to the left. The path is cruel against your feet, the impact of each step sending pulsing vibrations up your legs until there's nothing left in them to feel. The air around you grows cold the further you progress. At first a barely noticeable drop, quickly evolving into a numbing cold. Your toes feel like blocks of ice, your breaths puff out in clouds of condensed vapor. You shudder against it as you continue down the stairway, losing yourself in the bone-deep chill. You slowly lose sense of yourself the further you go. Time disappears, and you can feel yourself begin to untether.
Ooh.
Physical sensations dull and then vanish, until the only things experienced are the endless repeating patterns and emotions of the journey, a continuous march forward to a destination long forgotten. Consumption and betrayal, skepticism and blind devotion, rivalry and submission, terror and longing, pain and unfamiliarity. And at the heart of it all, an emotion that can only be described as...
Are you just going to stand there?
What the hell was that? What happened to us? I feel so strange. Like I'm fundamentally different, but also still the same person I was at the top of the stairs. Oh well, that was a trip. Time to get back to our old devilish ways. The princess, eyes bright but otherwise shrouded in darkness, watches you impatiently from the other side of the basement. Don't forget why you're here. And why are we here again? In case you weren't listening, I'm afraid I lost myself on the way down. You're here to... He's just
being an ass. Remember, though, I'm still not sure if we should trust you. Getting down here was weird. Like I was being pulled apart and put back together again. You know, it happened to me.
What, like you need me to hold your hand and tell you everything's okay? You're not really cut out for this, are you? Why are you even here? We're probably stuck down here forever, aren't we?
Oh.
There's no way out, and barely a way in.
As the princess speaks again, it's almost as if she fractures, and where there was once just one of her, there is now another. We can do that? I don't like this. It's those cabins all over again. Can you put her back?
Yeah, just push on her and just shove her back into the hole.
What exactly happened last time? Does it matter? Yes, it matters. But I'm not going to waste any more time prying out details if you're going to be so irritating about it. It seems to me like you saw something you weren't supposed to have seen. If only you'd listened to whatever words of wisdom you were given in that other reality. But what's done is done, isn't it?
Whatever you saw last time, unsee it. Whatever thoughts
Oh, sure.
weaseled their way into your head, unthink them. If it's not already too late. You have a job to do here, and you need to do it now. Ooh, new plan. Let's see if we can make even more of her.
Well, I know you're locked up down here for a reason. Do you know why you're down here?
Maybe it's because I'm dangerous. But you know, right? You have to know. You're the only other person I've ever seen. Or at least the only one I can remember. Don't give me false hope. Please just end this already. One way or another, just do it. Don't be coy. We both know why I'm locked away here. I'm a monster. And the second I get out of this place, I'm going to end the entire world.
I don't think we're going to be able to put her back. Kind of hurts to think about it, doesn't it? It's like everything we say just multiplies her. It certainly looks that way, so please, for the love of everything, stop asking her questions and stop stalling. You're obviously just making things worse.
I kind of want to make things worse now.
And what if that's an option?
You are the real life contrarian.
Wait, I'm pretty sure. What if there's an option that says that now? I want to see more of her now.
Retrieve the blade from where? Why can't I select both of these at the same time? Oh, 3 of these at the same time. That's not correct.
No.
Yeah, they seem to
What's
have
that
been
supposed to mean?
encoded
Are
as
you
one
trying to get under
option.
my skin? I don't feel like I've gotten any bigger. It must be fear creeping into your heart.
You know you can't stop me.
There must be something wrong with you. I'm the same as I was a moment ago.
She fractures again. I don't like where this is going. Neither do I. Which is why you need to slay her now before things get more complicated than they already are. How would we even do that? Where would we start? We would always start by retrieving the blade. Can we even leave this place? I don't like thinking about what might happen to us if we have to go back through those stairs. Well, that's where the blade is. If you want it, you'll have to go and get it. Okay, this was fun for a bit, but we can't even really interact with her, can we? What's the point of asking questions if all we're going to get is a million answers? Can't even follow what's going on anymore. We need to get out of here. This whole place is making me itch.
I'm curious if she'll actually answer what's your name.
You can address me as Your Royal Highness, or Her Majesty. Any honorific should do, really. Princess. It doesn't matter. I've been down here for so long. What's the point of a name if there's no one around to use it? No, I don't need a name.
My name is whatever hushed whispers follow in the wake of my devastation.
None of
Same.
them have names. How astute. I told you she was untrustworthy.
Oh wait, so is the bottom option is that you do multiple things? Like in each princess's reality, you take a different action?
Maybe.
Oh, that's a weird thought. Okay.
I let you out here. What are you gonna do?
I don't think what I do really matters, does it?
It kind of matters a little.
I just want to live my life. I'm a prisoner here, and whether or not you shoved me down here, you're practically my captor at this point. Anything I'd say is tainted by that. Besides,
You already know what I'm going to do.
if you want to put an end to me, then put an end to me.
Not a single real answer. At least aside from Miss Blood and Destruction. It's infuriating, isn't it? Whose buttons are there for us to press? Whose skin is there for us to get under? Not exactly how I'd put it, but I don't disagree. There must be something we can do. Asking questions just seems to make things worse. This is reaching its breaking point. If you don't act now, there will be nothing in here but her. Take a deep breath and focus up. You can do this. But how do we decide what to do? Can there even be a right choice when all of them are so different? Stop overthinking it. Your drifting thoughts have clearly been part of the reason this situation has gotten out of hand. If you're trying to do the right thing, there's only ever been the one option, and that option is slaying her. Just Just do something. Do anything. Do all of it, if that's what you want. This place is hell, and it's only getting worse.
Okay, so yeah, this is doing all of those at the same time.
Wait, that's not right. Go on. You take a step forward. Your foot lands, but it lands different. You experience a firm footfall, a gentle tread, a confident stride. You can feel yourself rupture. The room spins, your perception multiplying in a sickening kaleidoscope as your very self is pulled in incomprehensibly many directions. You find the blade suddenly in your hands. All at once you use it to strike at her bindings as you remain upstairs and slay her and leave her to languish alone. Is this what the end of the world looks like? What an unbearable mess. But this... we can't... Do you not have anything witty to say? I could use a good bit of wit right now.
Okay, now we're getting
No,
into
I
some
don't, because this
Jujito
isn't
stuff.
fun. How are we supposed to have fun if everything is happening at the same time? It's the same as nothing happening, and nothing is excruciating. Luckily for all of us, nothing and everything doesn't go on forever. The world and the princess collapse in on themselves before it all falls apart. I think he's gone. We were never going to salvage this, were we?
What happened to us? What are we? There are parts of us that are dead, and the others, they just don't fit. They just don't fit. We can feel them moving around in spaces they don't belong. It's all so uncomfortable. Did you do this? Did we do this? Can you pull us back apart? Can you fix us?
We should help her. I think we did this. How surprisingly sincere. I didn't actually think our actions had consequences. It's a little late for regret, isn't it?
Please.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, I'll do it. And that's that.
You'll never know if she hears your reply. She's gone. Memory returns.
She's gone. Where did she go? Should we try and find her? And there's that mirror again. Why is it here? Why now?
This is the end for you, but it's not the end for me.
What is that supposed to mean? Whatever awful thing I felt before, it feels so much worse now. He's just messing with us. Right?
You approach the mirror. Silence as you reach forward. They're gone, but the mirror remains. It's time for you to see what's in it. You've grown. You find yourself in the long quiet once again. You're at the cabin.
Flickering lights and empty cityscapes become pockets of vitality and movement. I am more than I was before. Whenever you are ready, I will wipe your slate clean once again.
Oh, I need some water first.
So what do you guys think of it so far? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this. This is kind of my Jimmy Jam.
Whoever thought that killing a princess would be so hard? I really was not expecting the game to be funny, to be honest. Considering it was pretty much advertised as horror. And I like it.
Are you the same being as you were before? How much have you changed?
Is a child the same as an infant? I am an unbroken pattern, but every vessel gives fresh perspectives and carves new avenues of expression. I am different, but I am the same.
Everything you say feels like a riddle. Can you give me a single straight answer?
I'm sorry. Words are difficult for me. They never fully weave what I wish to say. If you do not like my answers, then you need not ask me questions. The vessels you choose to bring me carry far more meaning than anything words could say in the spaces between.
What does it feel like to change like this?
Eyes close in reflection. Perspectives meld together, and the breadth of my experience stretches to new corners. There are contradictions, conflicts in my nature, and there are familiarities that bind everything together. It feels correct. This is what I need to be. This is the only path forward.
This is all done. Do you know what you want to do?
With every gift you bring me, I excavate the alleys of what I am meant to be, and every exploration yields new and complicated truths. What I will be is different than what I am, and what I am is different from what I was. I cannot tell you what desires I will hold when I have changed. But in this moment, all I want is to know myself and to know you.
Know that at the end of this, once you're finished, I'm going to kill you, right? Or when I go back, it's as if an invisible wall closes around me. Why can I not do the same things I've done before?
Those paths lead to worlds you've already seen, and to perspectives I have already made my own. They are useless to us now, inaccessible.
Well, that's neat.
The only paths of value are those that are yet untread.
So they make it so that you can't actually go down the same paths twice.
Nice.
Makes sense.
You've been kinder to me than anyone else I've met. Why?
Why wouldn't I be kind to you? You are the only thing I know that isn't me.
You have any thoughts on this vessel?
These ones are a contradiction, a winding kaleidoscope of paths and walls. They are stretched into a shape not unlike me, but it is a shape they cannot hold.
Ashley V. Oh good, a branching game where you can't keep replaying the same endings over and over fucking finally. I know, right?
Chrono Trigger spoiled us.
A rich and vibrant heart. Do not mourn them, for they will finally get to know themselves.
What do you want me to bring you next time?
Gifts aren't what someone tells you to bring them. My joy is in seeing what you choose. There are no wrong answers, and every perspective illuminates my shadows and shares new secrets.
I don't want to hurt you, but the more times I go back, the worse I fear things will be.
The vessels are shaped by memories of you, but they are drawn to the edge of the long quiet. To them you are a gate to something more, and you are something more than that, too. But they are only thoughts and perspectives. They are not me. The wounds they've suffered carve texture around my heart. Without them, I would be as I was before. I would be alone and without sensation. I could not feel the joy of having you by my side, for I would not know your absence.
You know that at the end of this, once you're finished, I'm going to kill you, right?
There is still much to be seen. Neither of us know the depths of our being. Perhaps at the end of this, I will be the one to kill you. Or perhaps we will leave this place together and find new horizons to discover. If I am to be an ocean, you have nurtured me into a pond. My waters are shallow and murky, and I yearn for more perspective. You will have your rest in due time, and I am sorry for the burdens I place on you.
So you don't have any preferences.
My preference is for you to show me what you would like me to see. I cannot know the ways I wish to grow, for I have yet to feel them. It is you who guides me down the thin trail of perspective and memory.
Okay.
This got
I will long for
surprisingly
your
deep.
return, but it will give me time to reflect on what I am. We will meet again.
Everything goes dark and you die.
The Rick narrator speaks.
Chapter 1.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of
Are
that
you
path
now?
is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
They get some sort of reward for doing this?
Yes, but you'll have to slay her before you get it.
I see. Can you tell me what my prize is going to be for doing a good job?
It's a secret, but I think you'll like it. It's a special reward, just for you. And whatever you think it might be, I can promise you it's going to be even better than your wildest imagination.
Sweet. I've always been off of Monarch Viva La Revolution.
Yeah, what's he say if you say that?
The spirit. You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within. A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says. We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them. Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
I don't know. He sounds pretty trustworthy.
The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. Perched on that table is a pristine blade. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right. You take the blade from the table. It'd be rather difficult to slay the princess and save the world without it. The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place. The air feels heavy and damp, a hint of rot filtering from the ancient wood. If the princess really lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her voice carries up the stairs.
Who's there?
She sounds dangerous. It's almost as if she's the one in charge down here. Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation.
Hi! There's something really funny about the idea of just being like, hi!
Hi! A stranger. And it's been so long since I've had any visitors. Come on down.
Come on down.
You're the next contestant on The Price is Right.
And lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around
contestant
her
on
wrist,
The Flesh is
binding
Wrong.
her to the far wall of the basement. She's so coldly beautiful. Is she really a threat to the world? Focus on the task at hand.
And there you are. Are you here to kill me or something?
Some of these options.
No way. Why would you even think that?
I like the
The
third
giant
one.
knife you're holding kind of gives it away, doesn't it?
The blade. Of course she doesn't want to talk. Who'd want to have a conversation at knife point? We should drop it. Don't you dare. It's fine. We can decide what we want to do after we talk to her. Maybe she really is a monster. But killing someone in cold blood isn't very becoming of us.
Fine, drop it this time.
The blade tumbles out of your trembling hands and drops to the floor with an unceremonious clang.
Thank you. Maybe now we can just talk.
Against your better judgment, you step forward to speak with the princess face to face, unarmed. We'll be fine. I don't know what you're hoping to accomplish here, but I can assure you there's no reasoning with her. Just make sure you don't forget about the blade on the floor. You're going to need it.
You know, I have a feeling that the mirror motif is very important for this narrative.
So here we
Probably.
are. What an awkward start to a relationship.
A relationship?
Are you Are you coming on to me?
I'm here because you're supposed to end the world.
Don't just tell her that.
Is that why they threw me down here? But I don't want to hurt anyone. I like the world, I think. I don't remember much about it, to be honest. I've been down here a long time.
Just how long has she been down here?
If I'm supposed to be capable of ending the world, then how did I wind up here, chained to a wall? Have they told you why I'm allegedly so dangerous?
I was hoping you'd tell me.
Ending the world seems like an awful lot for just one person to do. I wouldn't even know where to start.
I believe her. She doesn't have to know how to destroy the world to be capable of doing it.
At the end of the day, whatever the two of us have going on down here is about trust. Whoever sent you to slay me claimed I was a threat to the world, but they didn't tell you why. That doesn't sound right to me. And I don't think it sounds right to you either. Otherwise, we'd be killing each other instead of talking.
She has a point. There's a reason I've been telling you to question the situation, and there's a reason you've listened.
So, I could tell you that I'd lead a quiet life in the woods, or that I'd open an orphanage, or that I'd do any other number of good things that I'm sure you think you want to hear. But you don't really know me, do you? What can my word possibly be worth in a situation like this?
She's right about one thing. Her word isn't worth anything.
Like I said, it's all about trust. Blind trust. So do you trust me, the prisoner, the victim, the princess clearly incapable of ending the world? Or do you trust whoever put me here?
She's wrong. This isn't about trust. This is about risk. We stand to lose everything, all for the sake of one person, and a subjugating monarch no less.
That's your name.
She hesitates before answering.
You can address me as Your Royal Highness, or Her Majesty. Any honorific should do, really.
Again, she offers no specifics. No matter how hard you try, you'll never get a straight answer out of her.
What if we try?
How long have you been
Too
down
long.
here? How would I get you out of here?
You can't. Don't bother.
I'm guessing you don't have the key then. I'm sure there's a key somewhere around here, and if there isn't, well, we can always put that knife to good use.
Her sharp eyes settle on the edge of the blade. She isn't suggesting what I think she's suggesting, right? She is. I'm sure of it.
A relationship?
Don't
Are you
jump to
coming
any
on
weird
me?
conclusions. We're two people who have met each other. By definition, we have a relationship.
Okay, we've talked enough.
Oh, have you decided what to do with me?
You know why you're here.
No, I don't.
Keep her locked away, get her out of here, or slay her.
Vote now on your phones. Do we want to do this as a poll?
No, that'd just take too long.
Okay, fine.
So we're pretty sure that whatever I do, it'll be a new path. So
yeah,
let's roll the dice. Let's try getting her out.
That was my choice.
You have to be kidding me. You walk up to the chains binding the princess to the wall and give them a tug. They're large and heavy, far too solid for you to even imagine trying to break them apart.
If you don't have the key, maybe you should go looking for it. I'm sure it's somewhere upstairs.
Doubtful. Whoever locked the princess away down here intended for her to never see the light of day. They wouldn't have just left the key to her chains somewhere in the cabin.
Or maybe they did.
There isn't a key. Do you have any ideas besides me cutting you out of here?
That would be fine. I can lose an arm.
She speaks with almost complete nonchalance. If we were stuck down here for long enough, I'm sure we'd be nonchalant about cutting our way out. Anything to finally be free. You attempt to make your way out of the basement, but the door at the top of the stairs slams shut. You hear the click of a lock sliding into place.
The narrator is trapping you.
Is someone else here?
Try the door.
You try the door, but it's locked from the outside. You're here to slay the princess, and you won't leave until the task is done.
Yeah, it's the narrator.
Your shouts and pleas are met with silence. I'll repeat myself once again. You're here to slay the princess, and you won't leave until the task is done. You make your way back to the bottom of the stairs. This would have been so much easier if you'd simply slain her like you were supposed to. Easier for whom? Easier for everyone.
I heard the door slam. They locked you down here too, didn't they? The knife. Pick it up and cut me out of here.
You won't like what happens if you do that.
Save the princess.
Against your better judgment,
Gross.
Place the blade against the princess's arm, just above the massive, unyielding chain. You cut into her flesh. The blade is sharp, and you make quick work of it. Before long, you're able to prick through bone, and she pulls the bleeding stub of her arm through the iron gauntlet. She didn't so much as utter a sound. Free from her bindings, the princess turns to face you, her fierce gaze meeting your eye. How is she so composed after losing an arm? It's like she isn't even bothered by it.
Thank you. Now let's get out of here.
Approach the locked door.
We won't have any of that. The stakes are too high. You can't just let her escape into the world. No, I just can't let her escape into the world.
Yeah, I see how it is, Mr. Narrator.
As the princess approaches the bottom stair, your body steps forward and raises the blade. Wait, this isn't fair. You can't just do that. Watch me.
But wait, there's a warrant option.
I thought this was a little too easy.
Your body lunges forward to sink the blade into her back, but the princess swiftly moves out of the way before you can connect. Stop it! Stop resisting me! I am trying to get you out of here alive. The blade. Move the blade.
You're doing your best to help me, aren't you? I can see the conflict in your eyes. I'll make this quick.
She steps forward and pries the blade from your rigid hands.
Maybe I'll see you in another life.
And then she slits your throat with an almost clinical ease.
Ooh.
Her face remains unchanged as she watches you collapse to the ground blood flowing from
He's
your
lying
punctured
right there.
neck. This is the end, isn't it? I'm afraid it is. Everything goes dark, and you die. I hope it was worth it.
She was actually sad right there. The narrator was lying.
There is...
You're on a
Thank
path
you,
in
GC.
the woods.
Did not have
And at
told.
the end of that path is a
Okay.
cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to
That was
slay
pretty
her.
cool. I like that.
If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Okay.
A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says. Yes, don't believe a word she says. Just go in, take the knife, and do what you're supposed to. Wink. Did you just say wink out loud? No, I didn't. Wink. Just ignore this clown and focus on the princess. The interior of the cabin is less a cozy woodland retreat and more like a dungeon. A few pathetic wisps of starlight attempt to illuminate the cold, uninviting stone walls, and thick, wrought iron bars barricade the windows, reminding anyone who enters that this is a prison. The only furniture of note is an iron table, bolted to the floor, a pristine blade perched on its edge. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right. He definitely did not. Does a mirror not count as furniture of note to you? Because it should. There isn't a mirror. There's a table, the blade sitting on the table, and the door to the basement. There's nothing else in here. There's definitely a mirror. There isn't. I think you know what we have to do.
To look at myself, I want to see how handsome I am.
Let's not get caught up in vanity, but we should definitely take a closer look. Whatever it is, he must not want us to know about it. Is this some sort of rehearsed bit? Use your eyes. There is no mirror. Why would I lie about something so meaningless? What good would it even do? You walk up to the wall next to the basement door. It's a wall. There isn't much to see here. This really isn't funny. You reach forward and rub your hand against the cabin wall. I hope you know how ridiculous you look right now.
I am curious
But it was there a second
about
ago.
that mirror more. The more we
Now
play
it's
this.
gone.
Yeah.
If he doesn't want us to know about it, it must be important. We should keep our eyes peeled. Maybe it'll be back.
I wonder if it will eventually actually be a mirror.
That's why I keep checking it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta take the blade. Sure.
You take the blade from the table. It will be difficult to slay the princess and save the world without a weapon. Good idea. Much better to be armed than to go in with blind hope alone. The door to the basement creaks open, revealing an old stone staircase. A few sputtering torches attempt to vaguely illuminate your path, dancing
That
across
seems much nicer
glimmering
than-
patches of slimy moss on the stone steps. If the princess lives here, slaying her would probably be doing her a favor. Her voice, harsh but controlled, carries up the stairs.
Is
You
that
hush,
a visitor
Harry.
I hear? Please, come downstairs. It's been a while since I've had company.
I wonder what visitors she could be referring to. Were we not the first? You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. She looks up at you, the heavy collar around her neck clanking loudly as she moves. The chains binding both her wrists to the far wall, joining the metallic chorus as she adjusts her hands in her lap. Should we be worried about the one around her neck? Why would you be worried about her restraints? If anything, they'll make your job easier. Have you noticed the empty chain on the wall? Odd that in a place where everything seems to serve a distinct purpose,
there would be something so obviously useless.
What an interesting development. Why don't you have a seat? The two of us should chat before you bury that thing in my heart.
Like, I'm not trying to do much of anything. You see how locked up she is? I'm just gonna leave her here. Or sit with her.
Interesting.
Let's go sit with her.
You step towards the princess, but she stops you before you get too close, holding up one shackled hand.
There's fine. I'd prefer we keep some distance until we've sorted this out.
That's reasonable. We do have a weapon. Might as well put her at ease. You do as she asks and sit on the floor, still a good distance away from her.
Thank you. Now, what are your intentions for me?
Another chain on the wall. Who is it for?
I don't know, but you could always try it on. Maybe it'll fit.
I hope I don't actually have to say this, but please don't lock yourself in chains. We need you ambulatory if you're going to save the world.
I like how you simply jump right into doing it.
It just says inspect the shackle.
I wouldn't do that if I were you. And why is that? Do I even need to explain myself? It's a shackle, and it's one without a key. Do you want to be stuck here like she is? And what? Is it going to lock the second we put our wrist into it? I don't know. Maybe it will. He doesn't want us to look at it. That's all the reason we need to investigate. But what if he's telling the truth? He isn't. I am.
Inspect the shackle.
Against your better judgment, you approach the chain dangling from the far wall. The princess watches you with faux disinterest as you inspect it, though she can't fully hide her curiosity. I don't want to say what I'm supposed to say next. What is that supposed to mean? It sounds bad. Is it bad? Yes, it's bad. Come out and say it then. You're just wasting time. Fine. As you hoist the shackle, its heft shifts within your grasp, as if pulled by some odd magnetism. Before you can so much as blink, it practically leaps from your hands, snapping around your neck. And, as if your situation weren't bad enough, the same magnetism repels your blade, which is flung from your hand and sent skittering across the floor of the basement. Excuse me? Yes? Are we stuck here now? Yes.
Huh, so it does fit. And I guess it doesn't like your knife. We're stuck here together, aren't we? That's funny.
What are we supposed to do now? Can't even cut ourselves out. Guess we'll starve. That's horrible. It's not all.
Oh, don't worry about that. You'll die of thirst first.
Not to touch things we're specifically told not to touch. No, that there's something special about this loose chain. It's clearly important.
Did you notice?
Yeah. We're both stuck here.
Yep.
What should we do?
Wait, I guess. Maybe something else will happen. Maybe not.
Not one for small talk, are you?
Nope.
That's rude. You and the princess wait in silence, though neither of you knows what you're waiting for. But you're waiting for something. You're waiting for anything. This is so boring. There must be something we can do to get out of here. There must be something we're missing. But there isn't. Time passes. It passes and passes and passes. And the basement of the cabin remains much the same. It is cold and silent. At least the world is safe. It isn't. You're stuck. Too far away from both the princess and your blade to do much of anything. But she's not ending anything. She's just sitting there.
Exactly.
Her very existence is a threat. It harms everything around it. How exactly does that work? It just does. But your line of questioning is interrupted by the passage of even more time. And after that, even more time passes again. And let me guess, the cabin remains the same. If time is passing, the cabin can't be the same. Even if the differences are small, they have to exist. That's just how things work. I suppose you're correct. Things...
Differences are small at first, a bit of weathering here, a bit of erosion there, but then they get larger and larger. Have you noticed the basement changing?
I don't like small talk, remember?
No, this isn't small talk, this is important.
Still rude. You continue to wait in silence, and the cabin continues to change. The decay comes faster now. You can see earth through holes in the stonework, can watch lichen spread along the seams of the walls. That doesn't make sense. Has our entire concept of time changed? What happened to starving? We should have died by now if the rocks around us are starting to erode. She hasn't starved. I guess she hasn't.
Wow.
Even more silent time passes as you watch roots push themselves through the increasingly porous walls of the basement. Dirt seeps inside, flowing across the stone floor like a liquid, covering the ground and threatening to swallow you both. Time continues to pass, and pass, and pass, until suddenly there are no walls. And then... And... I think he's gone.
Would you look at that? We made it out of the cabin, and nothing bad had to happen to either of us. So this is the outside world. It's cold.
Oh. Interesting.
Okay.
You do not get the chance to respawn, nor will you ever. It's time to leave. Memory returns.
She's gone. Where did she go? Should we try and find her? And there's that mirror again. Why is it here? Why now?
So the hand, that animation of them like taking her away, is the super precision of all the princesses, the super princess, if you will, reclaiming that particular individual.
Right now is going to be the end of everything. You're right. Part of me wants the truth, but something stronger is holding me back. Fear.
Yeah, the voices in your head don't want to
See you
leave.
on the other side. It's gonna be okay.
If you say so, we'll trust you. Feels too good to be true.
Approach the mirror. Silence as you reach forward. They're gone once again. Mirror always makes them leave, but you need to see what's in it. You've withered.
Oh.
Find yourself
Melty boy.
quiet once again. You're at the cabin.
I am a growing chorus of contradiction, a mass of tides ebbing and flowing all at once in more directions than my attention can bear to hold.
Wow, it's almost
To
been
look
it
at
already.
any one is to shift them all into something new, and to look away is to reshape them yet again. All of me is changing, and yet the rest of me is still the same.
How can you stand to be a contradiction?
As easily as you can stand to be you. You are like me, even if you have chosen not to look at the corners of you that do not fit. Even if you have chosen to ignore the brilliant contours of your soul.
Doesn't matter how many times I go back, at least one of us always hurts the other. Doesn't that change you? Doesn't that make you worse?
It changes me, but it doesn't make me worse, nor does it make me care for you any less. Does it make you worse? Do you resent me?
I have no opinion one way or another on the matter.
Tell my wife I said hello.
It's so distant as soon as I'm near you.
It does seem small from here, and the more we journey, the smaller each of those steps will be. But that doesn't make any of them less special.
Can't be a contradiction. Contradictions don't exist.
And yet my waters flow and my streets bustle. There are no words that can describe me into non-existence. There is no logic that can bind my multitudes. I am everything that you have known me to be, but I am also none of it.
What do you think of this vessel?
This one is cold and cynical. She has protected herself when others could not. She will make for a clever heart. Do not mourn her. She doesn't need to be protected any longer.
Ooh, that's a good question.
What?
Do you know what happens to the worlds we leave behind?
My perspectives are shadowed. You have seen what I have seen, just as I have seen what you have seen. The angles of my vantage do not offer me hidden truths, and my attention is turned inward, except when you are here with me. Perhaps this will change when our work is done.
How many more vessels?
We will know when we near our destination.
Do you still not care what I bring you next?
I will be here when it is time for us to meet again.
Chapter 1.
Have we been here before?
In the woods.
No.
And at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world. You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within. A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says. We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them. Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. The interior of the cabin is almost entirely. The blade is. The door to the base. Her voice soft.
Hello? Is someone there?
Is hypnotizing. It's the kind of voice you only have to hear once to remember it for the rest of your life. Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation. You're playing a dangerous game by coming here unarmed. Good. You're still listening to reason. It would be better if you had a weapon, but you may still be able to do what needs to be done. You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement. She's beautiful. How could someone like this be a threat to anyone? I am begging you to stay focused. There's a lot riding on you here.
Hi. Do you think you can get me out of these chains?
I'll see what I can do.
You're only making this more difficult.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're making a huge mistake.
No doubt.
No, you're doing the right thing. You
I'm
walk
a
up to the
hero.
chains binding the princess to the wall and give them a tug. They're large and heavy, far too solid for you to even imagine trying to break them apart.
I'm guessing you don't have the key?
Maybe it's somewhere upstairs. Doubtful. Whoever locked the princess away down here intended for her to never see the light of day. They wouldn't have just left the key to her chains somewhere in the cabin.
Maybe the key's still lying around somewhere up there, and if not, maybe I can at least find something to break you free.
Okay. I'll be here. Good luck.
You attempt to make your way out of the basement, but the door at the top of the stairs slams shut. You hear the click of a lock sliding into place. Is someone else here? You try the door, but it's locked from the outside. You make your way to the bottom of the stairs. This would have been so much easier if you'd just taken the blade like you were supposed to. Easier for whom? Easier for everyone. Look at the mess you're in.
I heard the door slam. They locked you down here too, didn't they?
There's a slight panic rising in the princess's voice.
If I could just get out of these chains, I know we could force our way out of here together.
She barely hesitates before raising her arm to her mouth, her teeth tearing through her limb with the determination of a trapped wolf. As she rips her flesh from her bone, a sound comes from behind you, the clang of bouncing metal. It's the blade from upstairs. You're not sure how it made its way down here, but if there's a time to strike, it's now.
Stop contriving things for me.
Or we could use it to free her. You won't like what happens if you do that. Fine. Against your better judgment, you place the blade against the ragged, self-inflicted wound on the princess's arm, just above the unyielding chain binding her to this place. You cut into her. The blade is sharp, and it takes little. Her limb falls to the ground. She didn't so much as utter a sound. No. She smiles softly. How is she still smiling after everything? It's like she isn't even bothered by what just happened.
Thank you. Now let's get out of here.
No, we won't have any of that. The stakes are too high. You can't just let her escape into the world. No, I can't just let her escape into the world. As the princess approaches the bottom stair, your body steps forward and raises the blade. Wait, this isn't fair. You can't just do that. Watch me.
What are you doing?
Stop that.
Something's come over you, hasn't it? You know you don't have to do this, right?
Your body lunges forward, the blade held low, ready to sink into her heart. But the princess dodges, stumbling back against the wall before the blade has a chance to connect. Stop it. Stop trying to resist me. I'm trying to get you out of here alive. The blade. Move the blade. As your body remains frozen in stubborn resistance, the princess takes a cautious step forward.
We both know this isn't you.
She nervously reaches towards you and takes the blade from your infuriatingly rigid hands. What are you doing?
I'm sorry. I'll try to be quick.
She plunges it into your chest, tearing through flesh and sinew. It is agony. But you aren't dead yet.
Oh no! I'm so sorry.
Stay strong. We can tough it out until it's done. For her sake. For her sake? Don't you start pretending that dying a painful death is some sort of heroic gesture. The two of you have literally doomed everyone. Whatever. She sinks the blade into your chest again and again and again, and you feel every inch of burning pain that slices its way into your body.
I'm sorry.
I like how it's animated.
She doesn't know how to use a knife, does she? Apparently not, though it doesn't matter how sloppy her knife work is, does it? A stab wound is still a stab wound, and it won't be long before you bleed out.
I'm so sorry.
With one last thrust of the knife, your legs give out beneath you. You collapse to the floor, your blood pooling around you, your limbs unresponsive. The princess stares down at your ruined chest as tears carve rivulets of pink down her blood-spattered cheeks. It can't just end like this, right? Oh, that's rich coming from you. As much as I'd prefer for things to have gone differently, I can't deny the reality of what's happened. The two of you made your choice. It's over. Everything goes dark, and you die.
Huh.
You're on a path in the woods.
Well, we're at midnight.
Yeah. But that
Well,
was a
this
thrill.
has certainly been something.
I really enjoyed that. That was
I'm
a thrill.
enjoying this. Oh, I've only unlocked 10% of the achievements in this.
Nice. All right, who we raiding then?
We are raiding out to Ziphysics, who is currently drawing the big dog. They're doing some art.
The big dog.
Indeed.
Very well then.
We hope you guys enjoyed the stream for tonight.
I've been enjoying it. I think this is great.
Oh yeah, I'm speaking to the chat, of course. But I'm pretty sure everybody enjoyed this. This was really good.
Okay.
Yes.
We will see you next time. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, everyone.